Jeff, there's a movie. It's called Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9. It just came out. We're going to talk about it here and Forget Being Cool.
You're watching Forget Being Cool.
Hi, Jeff.
Oh, shit. Hey, Dave.
Hi, Jeff.
How's it going?
Oh, I'm so concerned about this conversation we're about to have.
Why?
I tweeted out this morning. It might have been like 2 a.m.
The Rise of Skywalker is the greatest Star Wars movie since the Clone Wars?
I did not tweet out that statement. But I did tweet this, and I just want to make this clear. I really liked this movie.
Ugh.
Do I think it's a good movie? No. Do I think it has a lot of problems? Yes. Do I think that there's a lot of things you just need to accept and move on to enjoy it? Yes. At the end of the day, did I have a good time at this movie? Absolutely, 100% yes. Did I have a good time at episode 8? No. No, I hated that movie. I walked out of that movie going, that was the worst thing I've ever watched. I hate it.
Really?
Jeff, I can't even rewatch it. I hate it so much, I can't even rewatch it to reevaluate how I feel.
See, I thought episode 8 was better than this movie. This movie was steaming hot garbage.
Oh, no. Look,
it's a movie that was technically stunning and really great looking and everything, right?
Okay.
It was a cool movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cool, visually impressive movie, but nothing made sense.
So,
how'd the Emperor come back?
Nobody knows.
If they implied he was a clone, then why'd he come back as a necrotic guy who is like dead?
Yeah, let's start with the Emperor, Jeff. I think that's a fair place to start.
Yeah.
Did the Emperor say a lot of really cool stuff? Was the scenes with Rey and the Emperor really cool? Yes.
Yeah.
Did the Emperor have a reason to be there?
No.
Absolutely not.
All right, Dave.
And so if you just accept that the Emperor is back, if you just
don't. But it makes no sense why he's back.
No, it doesn't, Jeff. But does it ever make sense why Ganondorf comes back? Does it make sense why every time Link and them have to be reincarnated, they fight Ganondorf again? Does that make sense? No.
No, but this is different.
But
this is entirely different, Dave.
So Jeff, here's my dilemma.
Yes.
I agree with you. It doesn't make sense. It's dumb. Did I really like it anyway? Yes.
They rushed. It feels rushed.
It was rushed, Jeff. They brought J.J. Abrams in the last minute because they were supposed to have 3 directors on 3 Star Wars movies, and no one had a through line. No one said, hey, we got to make sure we stated this thing. There was...
Why?
So let's just kill Snoke, because, that'll be neat.
You think J.J. Abrams came back like, oh, Snoke is dead. What are we going to do?
He came back and said, I'm not really sure what we do now. I think we could bring the Emperor back and that'll be cool. I think that's the conversation that he's kind of alluded to, which is basically he came back to a movie that didn't have anything, and his solution was to bring the Emperor back, whether it made sense or not.
Whose bright idea was it to kill Snoke? In the middle of the movie,
Rian Johnston's brilliant idea.
Undramatically just kill him.
See, if J.J. Abrams had directed these 3 movies together...
Yeah,
and
it would have made way more sense.
Yeah, if we wanted to do this, we would have made it so Palpatine was controlling Snoke. Like, it would have been like alluded to that there was
Whoa.
something above Snoke, but the problem was there wasn't.
Was Snoke Palpatine? Or was Snoke Palpatine? Was Snoke a clone of Palpatine?
So that's what people are saying, is Snoke is a clone, like a failed, messed up clone of Palpatine, which kind of makes sense with his contingency plans to stay alive forever. But the worst part about all of that, Jeff,
Yeah.
is that Palpatine's only explanation was, I was pulling the strings the whole time. Like, that's all we really get, and it's not, like, explained. Like, what was Palpatine doing in the last 2 movies?
There needs to be a backstory. What the heck was Palpatine doing?
Yeah, like, he was just waiting? Like, fine, sure, I guess. And it doesn't work.
So this movie, so Snoke, I was disappointed that. So
Did you
and
have
somehow
did you have a good time? Tell me you had a good time.
yeah, but nothing made sense to me. So a Palpatine, like the beginning, the 5 minutes of the movie, you're like, what the heck is happening? How is this happening in the first 5 minutes of this movie? Kylo Ren goes there, right? He goes there. The Emperor is like, I've been pulling the strings the whole time. And he raises up his hand, and 500 gosh darn Star Destroyers come out of nowhere. Like, how did they build that? Where did that come from? How does he have all these troops left over for all these Star Destroyers?
It's the final order, Jeff.
How do they all have the Death Star beam on their Star Destroyers? Where'd this technology come from?
I mean, it's been 30 years. I can accept.
Yeah, but Star Killer Base had to be that big to launch a weapon like that.
Yeah.
You know what's happened to us in 30 years, Dave? We went from...
We got rid of headphone jacks, Jeff.
Yeah, we got rid of headphone jacks. We're supposed to have hoverboards by now. We don't even have proper hoverboards.
And flying cars. You know, it's...
So you got that. I would have been cool with it if the crewed people that were manning it were implied to be either clones or, which they definitely were, because they were just random people per crew, or clones or like necrotic stormtroopers.
Okay. I agree with you that this movie starts out real rough. Also, Kylo Ren goes to the place that the entire movie is about trying to find.
Immediately.
Right. Like, the entire beginning of the movie is him going to the place that we spend the rest of the movie trying to get to.
Yes.
And that's a little ridiculous.
It turns out Rey has a fit, lights the TIE fighter on fire, and just finds it. Can we talk about how they're just throwing out these force powers all willy-nilly to everybody? Like, okay, Rey's like, oh yeah, she's here, I can feel it. Well, she has force powers. And then Finn's like, oh yeah, we need to get this. Like, how do you know? I can feel it. Like, you're just throwing out these force powers all willy-nilly like this? Everybody have force powers. Everybody can feel what's happening. What's happening here?
But that is kind of the point, Jeff. It's always been that way. Everybody is feeling it, although some people feel it more than others.
And you're just going to gosh darn tell me in the middle of this gosh darn movie, I'm trying not to swear, this movie, that you're just going to nonchalantly say that Leia trained to be a Jedi and then just not mention it ever again? Oh yeah, here's her lightsaber. She trained to be a Jedi. Okay, here's her lightsaber.
I wasn't going to go there yet, but Carrie Fisher died.
They let me tell you, the one thing I was impressed about this movie, Dave, they did such a better job of animated Carrie Fisher than animated.
Well, that's really her.
Parker.
It's really her in front of a green screen. It's outtakes from the last 2 movies.
Okay, that's weird.
So it's not a fake her. It's the real her. It's just lines put into different context. Yeah. That's why it's so good. It really is.
How'd they have those lines just out of nowhere? Seems really weird.
They do alternate takes and stuff. That's why Han shows up to talk to Ben instead of Leia. Which that conversation I don't think makes any sense. But it's fine. That was a choice that had to be made because we had to do something because of Carrie Fisher. And that's okay. Now, somebody that I know presented a better scenario for that situation. You want to hear this?
Should have been Luke.
Should have been Anakin.
Oh,
that is a little bit more interesting.
That would have been cool.
That would have been surprising and interesting.
Can we just say that they give the Force Ghosts a lot more phasing abilities today? Like Luke just picks up the lightsaber. He's a Force Ghost, but he's still Luke. Luke is one of the most powerful Jedis.
His that's a Jedi's weapon. It deserves more respect, Jeff.
Yeah. If Luke was a Force Ghost like that, why couldn't he just fly to that planet and just kill the Emperor?
All
right, you know what upsets me the most? The stupid bond that Rey and Kylo Ren share. Ben
Solo.
Ben Solo, they share to where they could just pull the materials out of somewhere just out of nowhere.
It'd be like us, Jeff, being able to like pull stuff out of your room from here. That it's
They don't explain it.
No, they don't.
They pick up something, a milestone, like planets and solar systems away. They could have tried teleportation like that.
Except we established that in episode 8, which I didn't like.
But not to the ability that it is now.
Yes, but I also liked it better in this movie, even if that is a little bit OP and a little bit ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was way more interesting than anything they did in The Last Jedi.
Can we talk about the problem that Disney has with killing off characters?
I mean, they did. They killed off characters.
Only the Skywalkers. Oh, only major Skywalker characters.
All the Skywalker characters are dead.
Yeah. Except for Rey.
You want to go there? It's one of these things that I overlap it in my head over and over and over, and whether I'm okay with that. And I come to the conclusion that I like it, but I'm not okay with it. Is that okay?
Do you know the one thing I'm surprised about? This theory I don't think we ever talked about was Rey being Palpatine's granddaughter.
Yeah, we did. Everybody did.
I didn't think about that. Do you know how old Palpatine would have had to have a kid, and then that kid to have a kid and have to have Rey's age? Do you know how old Palpatine would have been in his 60s when he had his kid?
It makes sense. Palpatine's a weirdo. Can we talk about the worst thing in the whole movie?
What?
Because we haven't even touched it. I like this movie, mind you. I really do like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good movie. The worst moment in the whole movie is the kiss.
Yeah.
I hate that kiss so much. I never thought I would hate a kiss in a movie so much. I felt like the kid in Spider-Man 3 when Peter, is up on stage with Gwen Stacy and he's going to kiss her because she's giving the key to the city. And that little kid goes, "No, Spider-Man, no!" That's how I felt. I felt like that little kid. Like, don't do it. It's dumb.
That's what I was thinking first. What was Finn going to say in that quicksand?
Yeah, good question. A question for another time.
They never mention it again.
They don't. They don't wrap that up, and I'm not okay with that. If you're gonna do that, you need to solve it. Also, marketing this as the true end to the Skywalker saga is a lie, Disney.
It's a real big lie if at the end you're like, oh no, I'm a Skywalker.
Right.
I'm the Sky. You can't say Ray Palpatine. You just say Ray Palpatine.
She couldn't say Ray Palpatine. That would have been worse.
Why?
You know, when we got to that moment, Jeff, and they go, Ray who? And I was like, oh no.
I know, right?
She's going to say Skywalker. She's going to say Skywalker. And I'm like, because she can't say Palpatine. But I'm like, either way, they put her into a box. Like, either way, she's stuck in a circle where there is not a right thing to say here. I almost think they should have just cut to black right there.
I just think they should have just not have made this movie.
I think they shouldn't have made episode 8 the way it was.
That's the direct. Oh gosh, let me think about this movie, Dave.
So episode 8 messed everything up. And that's the problem. Like there was, and I said this 500 times before this movie came out, there was no way to solve this problem. Either they undo everything that I hated, and by undoing it, I hate that they had to undo it, right?
But Marvel does that all the time.
No, they don't. No, somebody told me that the writing of this movie was on par with Marvel movies today. Somebody told me that today, and I said, F you, Endgame came out the same year, buddy, and Endgame is a spectacular movie with amazing writing. And don't tell me that the Rise of Skywalker is comparable, because it's not. It is not comparable. This is a soap opera with space wizards, and it has never shown more clearly than in this movie.
You know, let me tell you about this glaring issue that I had.
Okay.
The whole end scene. First off, there's clearly like Star Destroyers across the thing with this weapon, but somehow there's still 300 in orbit around the Sith planet. Second off, there's one control ship that, if taken out, the rest of the ships are just vulnerable forever.
Yeah, wait till they make a movie about that one, Jeff. It's fine.
And then next off, like,
Rogue 2.
If you switch your signal from your command ship and they destroy it, why don't you just switch it back to the planet?
That's what Rachel said too, and I was like, "You're right. That is dumb." She leans over to me. She's like, "Why can't they just switch back to the ground?"
Are you telling me that they can't switch back to the ground? Then or just taking out this command ship just renders the rest of the ships immediately useless? The most powerful fleet in history of Star Wars is rendered invulnerable because a command ship is blown up, and then the rest just sit there. Nothing. They don't do anything. Not one moves. And then you're telling me in one of the things we're on there in Sand Planet, and Rey accidentally blows up the ship with her Force lightning, that the Emperor Palpatine himself launches a Force lightning attack to like disable all the ships, but none of them blow up.
Can I say that the Force lightning thing where she blows up the carrier, which I knew that Chewie wasn't dead because that didn't make any sense.
Of course.
But when she did that, I was like, oh my god, that is actually really sad.
Yeah.
Like, I actually was like, oh my god, poor Rey. Like, this is the moment that I'm actually, like, upset and have feelings for her to be sad.
They relied too heavily on the trope. You're like, I can feel it. The Force is guiding me. Like, stop telling me you can feel that Chewie's on the ship. Feel that every scene they felt something.
More of those moments that like she accidentally used Force lightning would have gone a long way. And I think J.J. Abrams, if had been in charge of the entire trilogy, would have seen these things coming and would have treated them with more respect. Right? Like, This would have been a slow burn to Dark Ray.
And they ruined the C-3PO sad part by just having his memories back on with R2-D2.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of R2-D2 giving him back his
This
memories.
movie was one step away from C-3PO going, I can feel my memories through the Force. That's when I would have walked out. This whole movie, it was them going to a planet, the whole group of people, and then Rey going off on her own. And then the people have to catch up to her just to go to another place where Rey runs off again.
So a bunch of the reviewers, the critics, Jeff, said
Yeah.
this felt like a video game and they're going on a bunch of side quests. I strongly disagree with that statement.
No, I don't think it. I think there's one main quest.
There is one main quest, and I think it's fine, and it is nowhere near the stupidity of the video games. You know what movie did a bunch of stupid side quests?
What?
Star Wars, Episode 8. Remember our trip to the casino planet because they needed to get a guy who could hack a thing that we never actually ended up needing, but they couldn't jump to hyperspace because they didn't have enough fuel, which was never a thing in Star Wars, mind you. Never. And they could jump to light speed in the pods, and they had enough pods for everybody, but they couldn't take the ship into light speed to get away.
They never explained lights, how they rotate.
They don't explain things in Star Wars because they assume we know. But when you start to introduce things that apply to like our real world, it starts to get weird.
What about in the beginning where the guy's hyperspeed Poe's hyperspeed skipping? Like, that's never been a thing. First off, you can't even do that. That's already been established in Star Wars where you can't do that.
Yeah, but part of J.J. Abrams' brilliance is to do things that change the rules a little bit. It's understood that the fact that he did that isn't a thing that can normally be done, and it's cool that he did it. And I'm okay with it.
Okay. So my main trope is, if Rey can destroy a ship with her Force lightning, why can't the Emperor, who apparently has not Force lightning but Force destruction, why can he only render those ships disabled and not blow them up? Why couldn't he just blow all of them up at once?
Because then he'd have nobody to rule.
No, but he still have all the Star Destroyers.
So, I love Star Wars, Jeff. I really do.
Why can't they just kill off Rey? They were that close to killing off Rey, but no, had Ben sacrifice himself. He didn't even turn into a Force ghost. He just disappeared forever.
That's because he wasn't strong enough to be a Force ghost.
But then why did he disappear?
I think the correct thing to do with Ben Solo would have been to have them both live.
You know what?
I don't think he should have died. I don't think his death is worth it.
The problem I had with this movie is they had none of the main characters had good on-stream chemistry.
I think when the three of them are together, it's great. I also really like Finn. Still.
Why did C-3PO go on the... I like Finn. Why did C-3PO go on the mission and not R2-D2?
A good question. That seems different.
Just
because.
Because it's like they decided to just bring C-3PO with them for no reason. Oh, okay, C-3PO, come on.
We need you for human cyborg relations.
I feel bad for Chewbacca, Chewie.
Yeah.
Everybody he knows is just dying. This guy.
What'd you think of him getting a medal?
What medal is this?
They gave him what's her face? Maz Kanata gave him like a medal thing.
I thought that was Leia's medal. It was Leia's medal.
Yeah, but she gave it to Chewie, which is because Chewie never got a medal for any of the other battles he did.
Oh.
Which I thought was like, all right, people. Like there's scenes where everybody else got a medal and they're all standing there and Chewie didn't get a medal. And so he gets a medal at the end of this. He's the only one who gets a medal.
How do they explain? They never explain how Palpatine got all the Sith in him.
We never explained how Palpatine existed again at all.
No.
It's a clone. He's cloned, and he's kept himself alive.
But why? If he cloned himself, then why did he clone himself in a necrosis state?
Okay, can I ask you a question, Jeff?
Yeah.
And I want your honest opinion of this. And I know that we agree that Palpatine kind of comes out of nowhere. People who feel that now that Anakin's sacrifice is meaningless because Palpatine is back, they're wrong, right? Like, I think they're wrong. Like, Palpatine was going to come back either way.
Really, how hard is it to kill Palpatine? All you need to do is pick him up and throw him down a shaft. Why didn't they just throw him down a shaft?
Again.
Dude, this Palpatine is the only guy that's never wielded a lightsaber. His only attack is lightning. This guy needs more abilities. It would have been a sweet duel. It would have been a sweet duel if he just didn't use lightning. Can you imagine if he there was a battle? Like, it wasn't just like a...
You know, I agree with you. My favorite thing about this, and I'm going to argue this right now. People can hate me in the comments, okay? I think that Palpatine's justifications here and his, you could become Empress. You will become Empress. Like this, no matter what you do, your friends will die unless you save them, right? This speech has never been better written than in this movie.
Yeah.
He gives the same speech to Anakin. He gives the same speech to Luke. And neither one is nearly as effective to me, personally, except this one.
Yeah, but he still said,
Go ahead.
He said, do it. Do it. Do it, Ray. Do it.
I thought this was the best of the Palpatine, persuading somebody to do something so he gets what he wants.
Yeah.
People I've talked to are very upset that the Skywalker family name does not actually live on and Palpatine lives on. I disagree. It's not a problem.
They need to figure out.
Where do they go, Jeff? Where do they go next? Because they definitely have to do lightsaber, people. So
they did. You know what the problem with this is? This point in the stage, the Emperor just was really it's just a one-dimensional character.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool, they killed the Emperor again. Oh.
But the Emperor was a one-dimensional character in episode 4, 5, and 6 too.
He was. How much screen time did he actually get?
In the original trilogy?
Yeah.
He probably got more screen time in this movie total than he got in those.
Oh.
Now, not if you count the prequels.
What do you think of them, General Hux?
I don't give a crap about Hux. Who?
There's a spy on the inside giving this, and it turns out it's General Hux, and he saves them, only to be immediately killed. Immediately. They didn't even give him 5 minutes afterward. They immediately killed him off.
Yeah, I never cared about Hux very much. And therefore, the fact they did this doesn't affect my opinion of Hux in any way at all. Now, didn't they say there was a spy within the Resistance as well?
No.
Okay. So just a spy in the First Order.
What happened to Admiral Akbar? Did he die?
Yes.
When did he die?
A long time ago.
He did not die a long time ago. He was in the last movie.
Wait, he just wasn't here then, I guess?
Maybe he died.
I don't know. Jeff, I really did like this movie. I've got questions. I don't think I'm ever going to get answers for some of them.
Yeah, Admiral Akbar died in The Last Jedi.
Oh, well, Jeff, when I watched that movie once in the theater, thought about it a lot like a lot, and then
Akbar was only featured in the background of a shot where he dies, with the camera focusing primarily on Leia.
oh,
So yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he died, and they just didn't highlight it at all. They didn't care. And then they had young Admiral Akbar in this movie.
why is
Is that an
episode
Ewok behind you?
the cat?
In between the bookshelves.
No,
It looks like an Ewok.
it's a hoodie.
Oh, okay.
Jeff, I had a good time. I understand why people are upset. I understand that it's a little stupid, but does everybody remember that Anakin is Space Jesus? And everybody needs to remember that Luke kissed his sister. And everybody needs to remember that the dialogue between everybody in every movie before these ones was absolute garbage.
You know what, Dave, though?
Yeah.
At least in the original trilogy, Rey didn't kiss Kylo Ren.
You know, I really, really did hate that moment.
Yeah. What do you think of them bringing back Lando Calrissian?
I like Lando.
I do too.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with nostalgia like that. That's why The Force Awakens worked so well. There is nothing like that moment with Han walking into the Millennium Falcon.
They spent these entire 3 movies just killing off all the original characters.
Yeah, and they in episode 8 tried to do the thing where we're gonna say that there's Force sensitive people all over the world, right? Like all over the galaxy.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't, and the idea that Rey's parents were nobodies, right? The idea that there was fine, but Rey's parents being nobodies that also happen to be the children of Palpatine is also fine.
Yeah.
You can do both.
Man, Palpatine is cold, killing his own kid.
Palpatine is not human.
He was way better in the original or the prequel trilogy.
I don't like the prequels.
But they did Palpatine justice in the prequels.
I agree. They do Anakin justice. They don't do Luke and Leia's mom justice. She dies of a broken heart. Padme,
the child pedophile.
God, everybody's got to remember that Leia says, "I barely remember my parents," even though her mom died giving birth to her, so she can't remember her mom at all. People have got to remember that these movies have always been stupid. And they've always got issues, and they've always got problems. In Star Wars, Jeff, you and I talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Do we even think that Star Wars are good movies? And I honestly don't.
I like them.
I didn't say I didn't like them. Do we think they're good movies? From a film standpoint, is Star Wars a good movie? And I really, really think there's an argument that they're not. That doesn't mean you can't like them.
There are good Star Wars movies.
I like Star Wars.
The Clone Wars is a good movie.
Okay.
Let's see here. I think most of them are bad.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's fine. It doesn't mean I don't love these movies. It doesn't mean that I don't have a good time. It doesn't mean that I don't mind going. I'll be excited about the next one and the next one after that, and I'll keep going to Star Wars movies, which is what Disney wants. But the fandom right now, where it's so split that everybody hates this movie, but they liked The Last Jedi now.
What's the next?
And when The Last Jedi came out, everybody hated The Last Jedi. and hated The Force Awakens because it was too much like A New Hope. I'm getting real sick of this. Everybody hates everything.
Let me tell you, I'm going to be excited for the next Star Wars movies when they don't bring back any of the original characters.
Yeah, because they're gonna have no choice. They need to come up with something new.
What's the next saga?
Rian Johnson, who directed Episode 8, still has a trilogy signed on.
I'm not gonna watch that trilogy.
but like we're watching The Mandalorian, Jeff, right?
But The Mandalorian is
amazing. It's amazing. Nothing happens. The story doesn't matter at all. I still love it. And guess what? I think The Mandalorian. I will let you talk in a second. I think The Mandalorian is a legitimately good show. Like, that's the difference. I don't think Star Wars, on the whole, are good movies. Okay.
There's also a Kevin Feige upcoming movie.
Yeah, Kevin Feige is signed on, which is great because the guy that made Marvel what it is in charge of a Star Wars project. Get excited, people.
Can you at least agree with me that Marvel's on the downs, or Marvel movies are on the downslope?
No.
There's nothing else. I'm not watching a Black Widow movie. I'm not excited at all for a Black Widow movie.
I'm not either, and I will admit to you that I'm not. Am I still really excited about the next Spider-Man movie? Yeah. Am I excited about anything else? Thor: Love and Thunder, maybe. Right? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, absolutely. But I do understand why you would feel that way. And you're right. I'm not excited for the Black Widow movie. And I look at that trailer and I'm bored.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it won't be great. And don't get me wrong, I'll still be there opening night because I'm committed to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But if I don't like that movie, I will stand up and say it. I'm not just going to give Marvel a free pass here, which I've never given them. I still think that, Thor: The Dark World is a terrible movie.
Well, yeah.
Not every movie Marvel has done has been a hit either. But something like Endgame, the end of the Infinity Saga, marketed in the same way that this is the end of the Skywalker saga, right? Endgame is incredible. And if you were invested in the story the whole time, that makes Endgame amazing.
I think I'm most upset about this movie because they were supposed to wrap up and end everything, and I don't feel like I have that satisfying conclusion.
I don't think they did wrap up everything. I think
they created problems in the movie that they solved, and they didn't wrap up anything else that mattered.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think they made a 2.5-hour movie that had 3.5 hours worth of movie. I think they had a really tough point to start because people were angry about the last movie before it, right? And the reality is people need to just be happy we're getting more Star Wars, right? Because Lucas spent 20 years going, man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have, a thing. I have ideas, but
do you know what fans are most upset about Star Wars?
What?
I think it's one of Disney's top officers said that they give him a break with this Star Wars movie because they don't have enough source material to go off of to have an easy time of making a Star Wars movie. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's your guys' fault that all that is non-canon. Do you know how many books they made? It's the biggest, most developed universe in book history.
Period. Yeah. No, you're right. The problem is there's a lot of highlights and standards within the extended universe of the Star Wars universe. Except there's nobody except maybe Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige's the master at this, right? Who will pull out the right stuff to make movies about. Marvel started and they said, man, you know what we could do? We could tease the Avengers. That'd be crazy, right? And they didn't know they were going to make an Avengers movie. They didn't have the money. They didn't know. And they made Iron Man.
It would have been
And Iron Man blew up.
It would have been a satisfying conclusion to the end of Star Wars if they all died. All the Jedis and Sith died. The Emperor died, Ben died, and Rey died, sacrificed herself. Then that would signify that there would be a new era to begin Jedi and Sith anew.
But then what? Like,
what do you mean, but then what?
Do people just rise to become Jedi?
Yeah. That's the history of the Jedi and Sith.
I agree with you, Jeff. I do. I just don't. I think if they had done that, people would be more angry than they are now. And they'd
be angry that Rey died. I'd be.
Disney put the fan base, mind you, the fans, the people watching this, right? Put Disney in a real tough place. Disney bought Lucasfilm.
Disney put themselves in a tough place.
True, Jeff. But Disney bought Lucasfilm for a lot of money, and they said, man, we gotta make a movie. And they probably made The Force Awakens way too quickly before anybody came in and made an outline for a real trilogy, right? And they had J.J. Abrams come in because he's real good at starting stuff. And he made A New Hope again. And that's fine. And that's fine. And I really liked it. He changed the pacing and made it a little bit more modern and a little cleaner and a little prettier, right? And that's great. And then they're like, well, man, we could just trust creative people. Oh, wait, we're just going to fire people halfway through projects, and we don't really have an outline. And, oh, we still have to meet Disney's deadline to put out a movie in 2 years. So just have Luke throw his lightsaber off his shoulder, and let's just kill Emperor Snoke, and Rey can be a nobody. And
you know what's crazy? The Force Awakens has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Last Jedi has a 91%.
Oh.
Rise of Skywalker is 58%.
That number is wrong right now, and it'll fluctuate once the nonsense ends. People are
I think it'll cap out in the 60s.
Oh, you know, Jeff, I don't know what they could have done. I had a good time. I like the weird sinking pits.
They didn't need to bring the Emperor back.
I know, but I like the stormtroopers with the jetpacks.
They could have made this whole movie about how Kylo Ren was a supreme leader. Stormtroopers used to have jetpacks.
Yeah,
this whole thing could have been Rey fighting with Kylo Ren.
I agree.
And the end of the scene is the end. There didn't need to be an Emperor. The Emperor was unnecessary.
But it's Star Wars.
And it was introduced as
Star Wars. There's always an Emperor.
Yes, Kylo Ren, the new Emperor. They still didn't portray Kylo Ren.
I like Kylo Ren. I liked this.
You know what has
a
better Rotten Tomatoes score and Metacritic score than Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker?
I'm ready. Secret Life of Pets.
Thor: The Dark World.
That's insane. Jeff, I really liked this movie. I really liked the Emperor. I really liked the lightsaber battles.
Yes, because it brings up nostalgia.
I really liked Kylo Ren. I really liked their weird Skype calls where they can teleport stuff between galaxy stuff. I liked all of it. I liked Rey using Force lightning by accident, blowing up the hangar ship thing. I liked the land speeder chasing through the desert planet. I liked this movie. I had a really fun time.
But when you bring it all together, it's not a good movie.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
I know it does. The people, it does. It really does. But I go back and I watch the prequels and I think people think these are good movies. There's a generation of people who are our age, Jeff, who think that the prequels are really good, and they're not. And then there's a bunch of people who have a deep-seated nostalgia in the original trilogy, and it's not that good either. It's real awkward. The editing is awful. The dialogue is terrible. It's terrible. It's the worst writing I've ever seen in a movie.
No, it's not, Dave.
That doesn't mean I don't like it.
What's the terrible dialogue?
The episodes 4, 5, and 6 dialogue is trash.
What dialogue?
The interactions between Luke, Leia, and Han are awkward and weird, and
you're saying the interactions between Rey, Finn, and Poe aren't awkward and weird?
They're not nearly as weird.
They are.
They are not good. But they are better.
I watched 4, 5, and 6, and I think that dialogue is all right. Honestly, for nobody actors, and they had a shoestring budget, I could see that. They just were throwing together a movie. All right, sure, that dialogue could be crappy and everything. But 5 had a way better dialogue than you think.
You're all right. That's fair.
Whole interaction between Luke and Yoda is legendary.
Okay, the interaction between Han and Leia is cringeworthy all the time. Rewatch it. The
dialogue with Kylo Ren is cringeworthy.
I don't disagree with you. I just want it to be realized that none of these movies are that great.
It's crazy.
I love talking about this with you, Jeff. I really do. I had such a good time.
The biggest problem I have with this movie, episode 8, I can discount it. I can say they didn't have expectations to finish up an entire 9-movie saga.
Right.
They didn't have the weight of the shoulders on them. Episode 9, they said, all right, this is it. This is the end of the Skywalker saga. And they didn't tie up everything they should have tied up, and they didn't make it as quality as it probably could have been.
Yeah.
To tie up an entire 9-movie saga.
No, this is like if Endgame wasn't good.
Yes.
But Endgame's great. And this should have been great.
Yes.
And I agree with you. That doesn't mean I didn't like it.
If Endgame was terrible, if Endgame was bad and everything, Endgame is supposed to wrap up not even 9 movies, like 22 movies, 22 movie saga. If it didn't pull it off, you would have been upset.
Yeah, I would have.
But
I went into that movie going, I don't want them to do time travel. And you know what they pulled off? They pulled off time travel. And there were a bunch of leaks for this movie, and they were all true. And people were upset before they even went to this movie.
Why'd they build up Snoke so much only to just kill him off and just have a footnote?
Because they didn't know what to do.
Although I like how Emperor Palpatine's like, this is the final order.
Yeah, Jeff, it was really cool. And no one should be sitting here going, man, that wasn't fun.
I liked episode 7 better than this movie.
I did too.
100%.
I did as well.
And I like episode 8. A little bit. Solo was a better movie than this movie.
Okay, so all right, let's go back to Solo for 1 second,
oh, gosh,
and then I'm gonna tell you the story about the movie theater because I went to Crocker Park, and we all know how that goes. And then
why did you go to Crocker Park?
Because it was the only place that didn't sell out.
There are plenty. Okay.
So we're upset that the Emperor came back. Okay. right? Because it made no sense. Can we
No,
please?
no. I'm upset that the Emperor came back with no allusion to the Emperor in any other previous movies.
Okay, yeah. Can we talk about Darth Maul, please?
Yeah, what about him?
How does he come back again and again and again?
I think he only came back once in
No,
Solo.
well, in the main movie, sure. If we're gonna use just live action movies, but he's been killed and returned like multiple times in Clone Wars.
He has I don't know, because he's the one overarching person.
And so what's the Emperor?
He's a
The
he-
one
They,
the one overarching person that just
they
comes back
explain why Darth Maul comes back. They have a backstory for why he comes back.
Yep, and we'll get it in a novelization just like we did with Darth Maul about the Emperor. Anyway, Jeff.
What?
So I went to the movie theater. I went to Clark Park.
Yes, you want
The
to.
seats are more uncomfortable. I hate this theater so much.
You hate this theater, yet you still always go to it. You always end up going to that, no matter your excuses.
No, I only go when it's the only theater that still had tickets available. I had to go at 10 p.m. That wasn't fun. Jeff, the reviews almost made me not go. Which I think is where you were at when you called me today, and you were like, "Man, should I even go to this?"
Yeah, you should have just go. Why don't you just go today to see it?
I know.
Who cares to wait a day?
I know. Anyway, Jeff.
Yeah.
So I got there, okay, and I got in the line for the snacks at 10 o'clock at night almost.
Yeah.
And I get up to the counter, and I order a popcorn and 2 drinks, and then I look up at the thing, and they've got these really cool Star Wars buckets.
All right, let me tell you how cool those buckets and that drink was. That drink.
Did you get it?
I got it. That drink container is the coolest Star Wars drink container you could have gotten.
It's just a cup with a head on it.
But the cup is really it's detailed like a movie poster.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool cup, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got up there and I saw that I had already ordered. Okay?
Yeah.
And for 2 large drinks and a large popcorn, it's $24. Okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, wait, how much is that? How much is the cup? Because I looked at the cup and was like, that's real cool. And I want the bucket. They're like, well, you have to get them together. It's $27. And I said, okay, I changed my mind. Can I have the combo with the bucket and the cup and just an extra drink, right? Because I only need 1 cup.
Yeah.
And they're like, sure. And then I was like, cool. And then they go $24 and whatever's change. And I was like, no, I want the combo and a drink. Shouldn't it be more money than that? And they go, oh. And so the 6-year-old girl behind the counter waves over her manager, and they don't know how to void a transaction. And she goes, well, he wants the combo and a drink, I think. And like, I couldn't have been more clear. Like, I couldn't explain this any clearer than I did. Okay?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And so then she goes, just give him the thing. So she takes the popcorn that they'd already put in a bucket, dumps it into the bucket. I'm looking at this like, that bucket is twice the size of the regular bucket.
That popcorn's huge.
They better fill that bucket up. Because I'm paying for this, they better fill it up. I'm like, they're going to charge me, right? And then the lady just charged me $24. So I got it for like nothing. I got the
Jesus.
I'm like, this is great.
How much what head did you get?
I got the Kylo Ren head.
So did I.
Oh, damn, we couldn't trade them.
Well, I meant to get. I got the red stormtrooper, right? I ordered it. I go up there. I'm like, oh, could I get that? Oh, what head do you want? I was like, the stormtrooper one. And they looked at there and like, you can tell they have no idea what a stormtrooper is. Like,
oh no!
I was like, all right, the red stormtrooper one. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they still gave me the black Kylo Ren hat. Like, what the heck? How do you not follow basic instructions?
Why is this so hard?
Although that is a sweet combo. That tub of popcorn is huge.
It was worth $27.
It's huge.
I mean, it's a lot of money, right, for a plastic bucket and a plastic cup, right? But it is a really cool bucket, and it is a really cool cup.
Yeah.
And you're never going to get it again.
No.
This is your one chance. So get it. These are the things in life that make you happy. I don't know how much I care about the Kylo Ren head.
No,
Like, that
why?
almost seems kind of annoying, to be honest. But
They had the Kylo Ren, the Red Stormtrooper, the C-3PO one, which I thought looked out of place.
it looked really
weird.
stupid.
And then they had. I looked at the fourth head. I was like, "What the heck is that head? What the heck is that?" And it took me to get out of the movie to like, "Oh, it's a Knight of Ren."
Yes.
Well, that's stupid. Why would they offer that as a? You have no idea who that is.
I mean, they were in
Before when you get the but when you get the combination, you're going in without watching previews, and you got the choice of those four heads. Who's gonna pick the Knight of Ren head?
I mean, they were in The Force Awakens.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were. The Knights of Ren?
I don't remember. Well, Kylo Ren just decimated them.
Yeah.
The Knights of Ren.
Yeah, anyway. It was really fun. I had a really great time. Thank you, Jeffro. Thank you for talking to me.
Jethro.
You're the new Lando.
Mm-hmm. And then what?
I don't know where they go from here. Like, I don't know, but I'm actually excited. I don't want a Rey movie, but if they make a Rey movie, I'll go to it.
They can't make a Rey movie.
You're right, they can't.
There's a lot of people. The actors already said they're already done with Star Wars. They don't want to do it again.
Yeah, because they're getting hate mail every 5 seconds.
Yeah, because they did them dirty.
Because they had no choice. Disney couldn't have done better than this, everybody, and we need to accept that. I know
Disney could have done better.
We deserve better, and they could have done better, but in the time constraints that they put themselves on, they didn't have the time. They would have had to delay the movie, which I would have been okay with, but their investors would not. Jeff and I will see you guys soon. Stay tuned to the channel. Of course, if you enjoyed this, hit that like button. If you're one of the Den of Nerds people, chop like.
And next time we talk to you, Disney will own everything.
Yeah, absolutely everything. When do I get my Indiana Jones movie, please? Disney, hi. You bought Lucasfilm.
The last Indiana Jones movie was terrible.
I know, but did you forget that you own that too? Anyway, bye guys. We'll see you next time. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to try to do more here on the channel as a YouTube thing, so stay tuned. Happy New Year, guys. Bye.
For more great discussions, hit that subscribe button or visit forgetbeingcool.com.